Spectrum of Thought.
What's up, guys? I'm Fresk.
And I'm EJ, and this is episode 8.
Today we're going to talk about everything 90s. We're going to talk about music, what games we used to play, we just got some news from the SOT News. We're going to cut to that real quick.
This is SOT News with Carson C. Carson and Donatello Berrycloth.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. The governor announced today that she's going to have a soft opening of some restaurants, gym memberships, and opossum farms.
Thank you, Carson. In other news, the fashion district is set to open quite soon.
Live from the fashion outlets, we have Aurora Espacito. How's it looking out there, Aurora?
Thank you, Carson Triple C. Always looking swell as usual. You are the fashion king. Anyways, I am your fashion correspondent, and I am live here at the fashion district. As you can see, there's not quite anybody behind me, but there's tons of things to try on. I'm so excited. If I was Triple C, I'd be here with me also. Anyways, my name is Aurora Espacito, and I will give you live updates during this quarantine. Thank you. Back to you, Triple C.
Thank you so much, Aurora Espacito. With the governor's orders still in place, it looks like Santa Fe County is doing a great job with that physical distancing and staying home. If you look at the streets, they are pretty empty.
Thank you, Carson. We're gonna cut live to our traffic correspondent, Liam Boujee. He's gonna give us a traffic update and let us know what's going on those quarantine streets. Boujee, it's all yours.
Thank you, Bearcloth. As you can see, I'm on the streets downtown Santa Fe, and they are completely empty. There's just a couple of homeless people to my left. They're off screen, so you can't see them. And I've had a lot of bad luck with homeless people. I get yelled at. This is a true story. I get yelled at a lot. But as you can see, my car is right behind me, and all these bags have been put over the meters, and I'm the only one taking advantage of the free parking. But anyway, the streets are empty. People are abiding by the stay-at-home order. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna cut back to you. There's some people approaching me.
Thank you, Boujee, for that speedy traffic update. In other news, Krispy Kreme is really taking their no-touch policy seriously. They are literally rolling out their donuts through the door, and people are grabbing them and running like they have no other option. I am Donatello Berrycloth.
And this is Carson C. Carson. Good night.
Till next time. Thank you, SOT News. That was very interesting broadcasting for sure.
Donatello Clothberry, he looks a little familiar. I think
Berrycloth? You mean Berrycloth?
What did I say?
Clothberry? He has an interesting name.
Berrycloth, yeah. Carson. Go ahead.
And an interesting fact, fun fact, Carson C. Carson, his middle name is Carson.
So he's Carson.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool. It's a cool name.
Very interesting, man. So, to continue, as we were saying, this is episode 8. We're talking about the 90s. Do you want to continue, Daniel? Going to go down style?
Well, we both wrote down like what we could think of in the 90s. Yeah. And I'm curious to see if anything we're gonna both mention is gonna match what the other person wrote down.
Yes.
So you start.
Okay. So I want to start with, because we should be pretty good with this, because we knew the 80s, but we caught the tail end about I think we were about 6, 7 maybe. The end of the 80s.
We were in kindergarten in the 80s. So
yeah, so it's hard to remember, but everything else is more relevant in the 90s. So let's start with style. As far as style, what do you remember, or what was your style in the 90s? I mean, you can just throw something out there. What was interesting?
Okay, so I think we entered the 90s in first grade, and I had a mullet. So I had short hair.
You actually had a mullet? Oh.
Yeah, I had a mullet, and I had pretty short hair, but then the back of my hair was like kind of like long and waved.
Yeah.
That was natural, all natural, dude. I didn't have to style anything because my hair is just styled on.
Natural mullet. That is interesting.
Yeah. As far as like the shirts and stuff I used to wear, it's probably like I think I posted a picture of myself where I had like this blue and yellow shirt with school buses, and I was a pretty damn cute kid.
So you were into school buses.
School buses and
You're not looking at me, by the way. I don't know what's going on over here.
you know what?
Kind of weird. I'm looking at you, but you're not looking at me.
I forgot which way to look. Was it this way?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm looking at you, but you're not looking at me.
Well,
You're mad at me today. It's okay.
I'm sorry. It was school buses, and it looked like, honestly, it reminds me of Saved by the Bell.
Wow.
That shirt reminds me of Saved by the Bell.
That's pretty cool, man. To talk about hairstyles, I remember having, do you remember the band Crisscross? Crisscross will make you jump. Daddy,
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I had braids. My Aunt Faith did braids for me one time, and she did really thick ones, and she did different colored rubber bands, and I was all pumped up. And then I went to school the next day. For some reason, I was embarrassed, so I wore a hat, and I never like rocked my braids like I should have. They were cool, man. They're big.
I did the same
braids.
thing.
Huh?
I did the same thing. I copied
You had braids too?
I had, dude, my hair was like up to right here, and my sister and my mom made thin, really, really thin braids.
Oh, I remember.
And I took them off that same day because I think people will kept saying like, "Oh, you're copying Crisscross," and I got embarrassed. I took them out. I took them out, and I had a freaking fro, dude. It was just like curls, like pa.
Hell yeah, dude! You should do that again. That'd be sick.
That's what I'm growing it pretty long, so maybe soon we'll see.
Let's both do that. We could be Crisscross the Resurrection.
Crisscross the Resurrection.
And you know what else was cool about Crisscross? In case people don't know, they were a hip hop group. They were young kids, right? They were like in their preteens, maybe 12, 13 or something like that. They rapped pretty sick, but they would wear their clothes backwards. And this was like a thing that caught on. They literally would wear their jeans backwards in their shirts, and it was like considered cool.
Overalls. We call them pachetas.
Pachetas.
But yeah, dude.
That was a 90s thing, pachetas, for sure. That was pretty funny, man.
You're not looking at me when you're talking now, dude.
I was looking at you. I like looking at you. So another thing, get this. Do you remember Reebok pumps? I had a pair of Reebok pumps.
I did too.
So they were the shoes, and they had like a little half
pumps?
ball on the tongue. What's that?
They weren't Nike Airs?
No, these were Reeboks.
Okay.
No, I said Reebok pumps.
Yeah, I heard you.
They had, so on the tongue, they had this little like ball.
You squeeze and
like a
pump it
half
up.
ball, and you're literally supposedly pumping up your shoes. And it felt awesome pumping up those shoes before anything I did. Like I'd be all, "Hey, EJ, want to go run outside?" I'm all, "Hold on." And you'd pump so hard till you got tired, and you're like, "I'm ready, man. Let's go." And you're
Did
like,
you ever over pump yours and pop it?
I don't know. I never was able to pop it.
Yeah, mine. I popped mine. I pumped it too much.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Did you pump it with like an air compressor or what?
I was like this.
Daniel's all, "Hold on." What else you got fashion-wise, man? Do you want to continue this on fashion?
Fashion-wise, I think going later into our years, I was the gel I used to wear was LA Looks.
LA Looks. Ooh. You had the LA Looks.
And I kind of had the same hairstyle at that point. I was trying to like spike it. I've always had this fade going on.
Yeah. So you always had the fade, and I always had the bowl haircut, huh? The mushroom. What was up with that? How come you never hooked me up with a fade, man? How come you always just made fun of me?
I never made
that
fun
guy
of
with the mushroom. Isn't he your cousin?
Yeah, he is.
Anyway.
But don't tell anybody that shit. Don't say that out loud.
So another thing I remember was baggy, super baggy, oversized clothes. And you remember this. I was probably like 4'8", give or take, and I'd rock like a large, extra large t-shirt or jersey, and then huge Janko jeans. These jeans, each pant leg went up to a mammoth 40 inches, I think. I only had 32 inches. They were huge.
Yeah. Like we talked about, I think we talked about those in our previous episode, one of the other episodes.
We did, yes. And what else with the baggy jeans? Do you remember that?
No.
It was the long hanging belt. It would almost touch the floor.
It was like
the hugest
the
belt
one I
you ever think of.
Was like a braided belt. Did you have the same thing?
Exactly, yeah. And that was just like a cool thing back then. It's very, very interesting, man. Flared jeans were a big thing too for, I guess, girls, which is really interesting. Jordans were a thing. Those have always been a thing.
I owned one pair of Jordans. How many have you owned?
I have some Jordans, yeah.
How many?
I don't know. I've had a lot. I like Jordans. Those are my favorite.
Ballpark it. Just ballpark it.
Like since they came out?
Yeah.
Like since I was a kid?
All of them.
Maybe I've had about 60 or 70 pairs. Yeah. Anyways, but I what's funny is I still own a bunch now, but I wear every pair, and I have pairs that are even up to 15 years old, and they still look pretty brand new, and I still wear every pair. So they don't just sit in the closet and collect dust.
You also have an Instagram that's like dedicated to like kicks, to shoes, right?
Yeah.
What's that Instagram?
Ninja Sick Kicks.
Ninja Sick Kicks?
Yeah.
Spell it out. I want people to follow you, man. Use
Ninja, Ninja. Shit, I don't know what it is, man. Sick Kicks? I don't know how I spelled it, buddy. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Probably condensed sick and kicks together, right? So
yeah.
Ninja, SICKICKS.
Yeah, something like that.
Look him up. He looks like him. You'll see his face.
Yeah, maybe. You'll see my shoe.
You'll see some shoes.
There's no face on there at all. At all. So we can jump. If you want to take it on, pick a new subject, buddy. Let's go. Unless you want to continue.
I'm gonna go games.
Ooh, okay.
And not video games. Not video games. Because we already had a video game.
Board games?
No. This is gonna blow your mind, man.
Games. Okay.
It's gonna blow your mind.
My mind?
Pogs.
Oh.
Remember Pogs?
You gotta explain those, man. You gotta explain them to people because they don't understand.
If I can explain this correctly, guys.
Okay.
If you want to correct me, anybody, please do. But this is how I played it with my friends. There were these little discs, like maybe that big, not this big, but like the circumference of this, that big. And you would stack them up, and each person would have a slammer. And these slammers were thick steel, or they were just thick plastic. And you would stack all these little pogs up and slam them, whatever, like think of heads or tails. And whatever landed on heads is mine, whatever landed on tails is yours. And you would start to collect. So the advantage was to the person that had the bigger and heavier slammer, because they would really hit that pile of pogs and the whole thing would just like flip over. But it was a fun game, man. I remember I collected a ton of that shit.
Those were cool, man. I just hated when people had those huge metal slammers and it was over. Because I only had the plastic thick ones and they were light. So once they did that, you're like, oh, they're gonna take all my pogs, man.
Yeah,
those were cool. I remember buying those.
Pogs,
hey, good job, buddy.
Good job. Hey, thank you.
Do you remember? Quick add to that, as far as games, do you remember playing marbles?
I have marbles on my list.
Ah, good job, buddy. We would play marbles, and basically you'd create, what was it? You draw a circle in the sand. Is that correct? And you would try to, you know what? I don't remember how to play marbles. I'm sorry.
Well, no, maybe we played differently. So what I remember is we used to go to school in Sombrio Elementary, and there was this portable trailer for like fifth graders, and there was a sand right in front of it, and we would set up little pyramids of marbles.
Okay.
There's different ways. So this is one of the ways to play marbles. These pyramids of marbles, and one person would have a marble in his hand, and the person that's this is all gambling, by the way.
It is.
It is. It totally is.
It was totally legal too.
So we would have the person would have a pyramid of marbles, and the person trying to win those marbles would have to knock them down. If he didn't knock them down, the other person get to keep that marble.
Yeah.
So same thing, same idea with Pogs. If you had a strong marble like a steely,
which is steel,
a ball that's made out of steel,
yeah,
you knock that pyramid down, you get to keep those marbles. So you would collect. So all these games kind of explain like gambling addictions, dude.
That's where it all started, buddy. So when people had those steelies, I remember they'd bring some like this big. They would literally crush my marbles, dude. They would like just nick the shit out of them. Like I would end up with like half a marble. I'm like, thanks, dude. Like seriously. Brought like a big old freaking huge ball. But that's cool, man. What other games? Did you have a list of games?
Let's see. No, that's all I have on my list, those two.
Okay.
But they were both like the same ideas, really. Do you have any other that kind of remind you of that?
I can't think of any other than quarters. We would play quarters also. So what would we would do is everybody would have a quarter, and we would all stand a certain distance back, and then we would throw our quarters as close to the wall as we could, as close to the wall as possible. So basically, everyone would throw their quarters, and whoever's quarter was closest to the wall would get all the quarters. And I remember I was pretty good at that.
Without touching, right?
Without touching, it could touch the wall. It doesn't matter. Whoever
okay,
was closer to the wall, period. But I think if you hit somebody else's quarter, you could take it. I don't know. But that was total gambling. Which is crazy, Daniel.
That is, dude, all of it. Like, it all makes sense. Like, it's all pushing us. It's all training us for gambling, dude.
It was totally training us. So, do you remember? Let's talk about slang, language. What slang do you remember growing up as a kid, or what did you use, or what do you still use? For instance,
I don't know. It's hard to know since we're still like in the same area.
Okay.
I guess I used to say no.
No. And that would be like
at the end of every sentence, like, but it'd be more like a question. The sentence, it wasn't a sentence. It was a question.
Give me an example. Give us all an example.
Like, hey, we used to go cruising a lot. So I'd be like to Tim, because I would cruise with Tim a lot. And I'd be like, we're going cruising tonight or no? We're going cruising tonight, no?
Wait, what? Huh? What do you mean no? I thought we were going cruising.
And then other alteration of that is like, or what?
Or what? Yeah. And that's probably like a northern New Mexico thing, huh?
Or what? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
what?
Do you remember the bomb? Oh, that's the bomb. Like saying that's sick. Remember sick?
I still say
I've always said sick. That's just cool. Like, I don't know. I also remember like when we'd be playing basketball and I'd make a mistake. I'd be all
bad.
My bad. My bad, man. My bad. I was like 3 years. I was like in third or fourth grade. I'm all, my bad, man. And I'm like, that sounds cool now.
I still say it. Is that
Do
like
you really?
That aging me when I say it?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, dude. I'm sorry.
I still say it too, I think. Remember from the movie Clueless, there was a whole slang that came out of that, and she would say as if. Do you remember that? As if.
Yeah, I don't think I ever said that. Did you?
I think you said that all the time. You just don't.
As if.
As if. See? So yeah, like there's just a bunch of interesting things. Bling came out of the 90's also.
Bling bling.
And no duh. Remember that? Duh. Somebody would say something, they'd be all, so you gotta clean your room. Duh. It's like, yeah, I know, but just being like an asshole. But
duh, stupid.
What's that?
I said, duh, stupid.
Duh, stupid. Don't you know? All right, so let's jump out of slang. Pick your new category, sir.
Okay, my new category is cartoons of the 90's.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm going to list one of them.
Okay.
And I think we used to watch this a lot before, like, we were in elementary. I'm thinking, like, first or second grade.
Yes.
Rugrats.
Rugrats. I love Rugrats, man. So do you remember?
Go ahead.
Tommy was the main character, right?
Mm-hmm. Tommy G.
Chucky. Was there Chucky? He had glasses, he had red hair.
Angelica,
she was the mean bully.
Yep.
Babysitter. Who else? What were the twins' names?
I forgot. That's what I can't remember.
So tell us about this show, what you remember, and I'll tell you what I remember.
It was just like these, I wouldn't even say toddlers. They were just these, except for Angelica. Angelica is the toddler.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, Chucky and Tommy and the twins that I can't remember their names, and hopefully they come to us before we stop talking about this.
We'll call them the twinsies. It's cool.
Twinsies. They would have to like get. Let's make up this scenario here where there is one of Tommy's bottle is on my shelf there or on my counter, and they had to come up with a way to get that bottle, but it was all their imagination. So it turned into this like huge obstacle course where they were like maybe going through a jungle, and maybe they had a cat and the cat would be a lion, and they had to overcome these obstacles to get the bottle. That's what I remember about it. And then there was a Reptar, the dinosaur.
Yeah, that's cool, man. A lot of imagination. and I loved that. It was cool because it made me almost feel like I was there too, because we would always use our imaginations as kids. Everybody uses their imagination as kids, and I always thought that was cool. And it would actually also teach you like life lessons. I felt like a lot of these episodes, like life lessons. I think I can't remember any in particular because I haven't seen it in a while, but I think they had a good message all the time. Do you remember that, or is it just me?
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. And there's some funny like adult innuendos in the whole show too.
Yeah, which
Grandpa would be like,
which there always is.
Go to bed so Grandpa can watch his adult movies. Like, I think he actually said that and was clearly talking about porn.
Yeah, Pornhub. But yeah, that's crazy, right?
.com.
So jumping off of that, so Nickelodeon was a huge thing for us as kids. Oh, yeah. And this just opens up so many cartoons that I could just name off real quick. We don't have to necessarily talk about them. I mentioned all that. That was like the skit show where all these kids it was like SNL, but they would act out all these stuffs. They would act these stuffs out.
It's the plural form of stuff. You're fine.
And you know what? I think that made me want to do films with you, like short films and stuff like that. I think.
Hold on 1 second. Is that Donatello Berrycloth behind you?
Yeah, it is actually. He's admiring an art piece that in my museum. I have a museum behind me, and he's actually
You have one picture in your museum, but that's the art of it, right?
Yeah. You just tore my whole idea down, but thank you. I'm actually kind of nervous now. He's contemplating whether or not he wants to spend over $100,000. So let's move on to the next subject. The Simpsons. I think The Simpsons, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they've been around for almost 28 seasons now. I may be wrong. I'm not exactly sure on that, but they've been around so long, Daniel. And we grew up with The Simpsons. I stopped watching them probably around season 15.
Sounds like a lot. I stopped watching a long time ago.
But they were always good. Bart Simpson, he was funny. He was a cool kid, rode a skateboard. And yeah, that was always fun. That was another cartoon.
I have another one. And I think we both watched it. Hey, Arnold.
I remember that. That was on Nickelodeon also. And it was a kid that had like a
football-shaped
head. And then he had this tall girl that would always pick on him.
Hey,
and her name was...
She reminds me of...
Me?
Helga.
Her name was Helga. Yeah. And she was a super tall girl. She'd always pick on him, but she liked him, right? Yeah. She had a crush on him, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
I don't know. A lot of the characters were based off... Their shapes were based off of like household items. He had a friend. I can't remember his friend's name.
He was black, right? And he was
black, and his hair would go up, but then it was like a lift like that.
Yeah.
And it was like he was supposed to be an opened can.
Wait, you're talking about my hair? Like that?
I didn't realize.
No, went that way? That's cool, man. Thank you.
But there's this other cartoon Monsters. I think it was called Monsters.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yes.
That one was pretty cool. But yeah, man, there's a lot of cool stuff. We can go to the next topic, which is on you.
Yeah. So let's jump to, I think you're going to like this one, technology in the 90s.
Ooh,
this
man.
is what we remember. We're not experts, so no one get mad at us if any of this came out sooner or later. We're not experts. This is what we remember. So calm down. So I'm going to let you go on technology. What do you remember technology-wise?
I remember when you got your first computer.
Okay.
And we were connected to the internet, which was dial-up.
Dial-up. Yes, I remember dial-up. Explain dial-up.
Also, man, there's so many subjects on technology.
But you got to explain dial-up.
Dial-up is like using your phone line to connect to the internet. Like right now, I'm connected through cable. And there's still DSL, and there's still
fiber optics,
satellite.
Yeah,
there's still satellite. I mean, there's satellite internet.
Yeah.
But dial-up is 20. It started off at 28K. Right now, I'm at 280 megabits per second. So I'm like way up there.
We weren't even at 1 megabyte.
Right, 28K. We're not even a fraction.
We weren't even at half a megabyte per second.
So we would dial in and it would go. and then it would finally. You had AOL. I remember you had an AOL account, and it would log in.
I still do.
Say, you got mail. But man, I remember having to download. We were into South Park. This was like 1997, 1998.
And South Park came out in the 90s too. Yes, go ahead.
South Park was like funny. Like we loved it. And I remember going to like southpark.com just to like watch a quick clip of an episode, and it would take so long to just watch like 5 seconds. Like I swear I'd wait forever and be like buffering. And finally, oh my God, they killed Kenny. Like that's what I waited for.
And it would cut out. That was it. So here's the funny thing. Adding to that, if you were downloading something, let's say it was a file, maybe let's say 100 megabytes.
Oh, let's go down let's go 3 megabytes.
Well, I was going to say how much time it's going to say, like 24 years it's going to take to download at the speed you're doing. So you're downloading this all night. Believe it or not, you're downloading. Somebody calls your telephone or picks up the telephone, connection's done. It's over. You got to start over. There's no redos for this shit.
Right. Not like now, like because now people still lose connection, but I think technology's grown to like it'll download halfway. The connection gets lost, it's still going to save that half download.
Yeah, it'll
continue when it reconnects, but not back in the day. You lost that connection, you got to start over. And I think we talked about this in a previous episode too, is like we wait all night long for a 3 megabyte music file to download. Yeah, we did. We talked about Napster and
Kazaa. There was also Kazaa also.
But yeah, heck yeah, dude. Keeping on technology, I remember floppy disks is our generation, dude. Like when I went to my computer class, we were using floppy disks to save our files, or like we were making websites with HTML, and we would have to save everything on a floppy disk, and the 4.5 floppy disks, because there's 2 different ones. I think there's a 5-inch and a 4.5 inch. But hilarious, man. So for those of you that don't know, that save button that you always click on, that save icon, that is a floppy disk.
Yes.
Now you know.
And you couldn't save much on those either. I don't even think you could. Could you save pictures on those?
Yeah, it was 1.44 megabytes. That's what you. And I remember saving.
Hot.
I saved one song on 2 floppy disks. One song. The song was a little bit less than 3 megabytes, and I had to save half of it on one and half of it on the other.
Wow,
cool. That was to transfer it to my other computer.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So here's another thing I think you'll remember. This is a way to correspond with people throughout the country. This was called Talk City. Do you remember this? And they had Teen Talk City also, which we would go to because we were teens.
And I remember, if those of you that are in our generation, when you see ASL ? What do you think of? EJ?
It means age, sex, and location. And that's all we were interested in at that age, apparently. We're like, sup?
How old are you? ASL. How old are you? Are you a woman? And how close to you?
Yeah. Are you a woman? That's cool. That's good for me. Where are you at? Toronto? Oh, okay, cool, man.
All right, later. Talk to you later.
But that was a cool way to talk to people. I don't know if we were able to send pictures back then or if we even knew how. No, but I don't think we were able to. So we never knew who we were talking to. It could have been an old dude for all we knew.
Yeah, it could have been like a 36-year-old talking to us teenagers.
Think about it. Like, we never know. We were talking some mad shit on there, man. It was pretty cool. But I would always talk to people out of state, and it was just funny. I'd bullshit my way. You would do the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever like a serious conversation. It was always like,
it was all for fun.
Daniel, age, sex, location.
Yeah.
Tiffany, 15. Female. Los Angeles. Oh, what's up, Tiffany? What are you doing tonight? What's our goal?
That's funny, man. Tell me about this one. AIM. What do you remember about AIM, and say what it is?
AIM is AOL. That's what the A stands for. A stands for AOL, and which is America Online, which in turn stands for America Online, which is the internet service that I was talking about earlier.
But anyway, doesn't exist anymore.
but you can still have an email, like
Which I do.
AOL, I Instant Messenger. M is Messenger. And we used, dude, that was like the best. That was like the initial, like, this is how we are communicating with each other. We'd get on, you can start to send, like, I used to use alt codes to make like cool emojis. I still use alt codes today because they're pretty cool. I don't know if you use alt codes, but yeah, dude, that was like, we can still chat with our friends mostly. I don't remember being like finding a stranger on that one.
It was hard unless you were talking to them on another platform.
Like
and then
Talk City, and then you can say, hey, this is my AOL Instant Messenger handle. Look for me, and we can have a private conversation that way, girl.
So that was our way of texting back then. That was our way of texting because I don't think texting really existed back then. So it was so easy to do. And then that turned into MSN messaging, which was a little more advanced, prettier platform. Interface was a little newer. I always liked AOL Instant Messenger more though. It was just so cool. Yeah. I remember I'd go on there and I'd see Daniel idle for 2 days, 15 minutes, 5 seconds.
Or Daniel's on, or EJ's online, and I sent him a message and no response, but it still says online. And I'm like,
I was busy.
What the heck, dude? You were too busy saying H6 location.
Sorry, man. It takes a while to type that shit. So do you want to continue technology? We can continue.
What's interesting is with those chatting platforms that's where like all these acronyms came from, like Be Right Back, BRB.
You're right.
That's where all of it started, really.
It did start right there. You're right.
You'd have to, like, somebody would say rolling on the floor laughing, ROFL, whatever.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd be like, wow, no.
Raffle.
Laughing. I get it. I'm totally deciphering this code right now.
And
now you think like it's transitioned from that into emojis.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I think it had a page of acronyms for us, from what I remember. I think
I didn't know that.
I can't remember. Or maybe you could look it up back then. But I would always look stuff up because I was always curious. But yeah, that was pretty fun, man. Computers.
I have an interesting question for you. What's the first search engine you ever used?
Netscape. Yes, I have this written down on mine. So Netscape was one of the first search engines, like you said. And in the top right corner, I always remember this. In the top right corner, it had the Earth spinning, and then it had like a meteor flying past it. It was like an interactive, like a GIF, pretty much. Always, it was constant.
Like a GIF?
Yeah, GIF. Sorry, that's what I said. Jiffy. And it was like a GIF. Is GIF?
I say GIF because the person that made GIFs named it GIF. So I say GIF.
It's spelled GIF. Okay, so but I was excited about that little thing, and I remember Netscape. Netscape was so cool to me. I was just like, oh my gosh! And then, what else do you remember? What other search engine?
Well, the very first search engine that I used was Alta Vista.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't think these exist anymore.
I think Alta Vista does actually. You can go to altavista.com and it'll forward you to Yahoo search engine, I think.
Wow, that's pretty interesting, man. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So do you remember when cordless phones became a thing? Cordless phones? We didn't have cell phones.
You don't mean cell
phones existed.
Yeah, because before we'd have this corded phone that was like a wire that wrapped.
And you could have like a 500-foot cord.
Yeah. You can't leave your room or a house.
Yeah. But you could have a 500-foot cord.
Like this. You can go like 15 feet away, but you have to go like this. Yeah, just here, man. Using my cordless phone.
Hold on, man. I'm going to go to the other room.
And I'm going to shut the door without any problem.
Yeah, without smashing my cord.
Because there's not a cord.
That's pretty funny, dude. And then speakers phones were a thing too. I remember that was so exciting. You're like, oh my gosh, I can hear you without holding the phone. Why are you screaming though? That was pretty cool, man. Anything else technology-wise?
Yes. So I don't know if we talked about this. We might have. I think we did actually. Walkman.
Walkmans, yes, I remember Walkmans. Explain those.
The CD Walk, because we had cassette players where we'd hook this cassette up to our belt, and I'd have headphones. We didn't have headphones like this yet. They didn't go around our ear. They were like headphones like this.
Yeah, I still have headphones like that.
But they weren't like this. They were like just padded against you.
Yeah.
But I remember putting a cassette tape, rewinding, fast forwarding, and just jamming out that way. But Walkman CDs, they also like they're pretty ridiculous now that you think about them. But a CD is probably like this big, so the Walkman was probably like this big.
Yeah.
And you can also attach that to your belt and go for a run because they have anti-skip mode.
Oh my God! If you didn't have anti-skip, woo, that CD would not play, buddy.
You'd be running, and it would be like a rhinestone, like a rhinestone, like. It was like a remix, really.
Yeah. You know what I remember that from? High School High. It was a comedy movie. It came out in the 80s. That was pretty funny.
80s or 90s?
High School High.
But 80s or 90s?
90s. This came out in the 90s. Because they mixed a record like that at the school dance. They're all like a rhinestone, rhyme. Whatever. Pretty funny though. Well, that's cool, man. Anything else you care to share about technology?
No, that's all I got, I think. What about you?
Anything else that pops out to me? Recording mixtapes. Because you have to record all your cool songs onto a cassette tape off of the radio. So you were trying to like record the song from when it started and it ended, but then the DJ would start talking before it ended, and you're like, "Oh, you ruined my song," or you'd be waiting all freaking night to record your favorite song.
Yeah, I remember that.
It took a lot of effort. So if you gave somebody a mixtape, that means you dug them, like you were into them.
Oh yeah. Hey, I made you this mixtape.
Huh?
Hey, I made you this mixtape because I don't own any of these songs. I waited in front of a stereo for every single one of these songs to play.
Yeah, you better dig me.
You better at least say thank you.
But I remember those, man. And then the same with CDs too, right? You could do a mixtape too. A little easier. Burning your songs. That's what they was called.
Napster, Kazaa.
Yeah, you could burn free ones. Yeah, that's true. I never did that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Or you can pay for it, like through Apple.
Back
in the day, now I actually stream through Amazon, so I don't have to pay for it. Well, I'm paying for it anyway.
So let's go to musica. Unless you want to add to that.
No. Nope.
Let's go to music, man. What do you got? What you got for me, man? What music did you like in the 90s?
I think we kind of covered this in our music episode, but like Blink-182, Green Day, Sum 41, Rage Against the Machine. I liked a lot of alternative rock. And then also like Dave Matthews Band, which I said was like one of my top bands.
Red Hot Chili Peppers or not really?
The Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana. I liked a lot of alternative. What about you? I liked some more than that, but my favorite was alternative.
Wow, I could go a different route, and I could say like LL Cool J. I really thought LL Cool J was pretty cool. Missy Elliott was really innovative and had really cool, funky beats. Oh, I love that. The Beastie Boys.
Yep.
Those guys rocked it out for like 4 decades, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 3-4 decades. They were sick, man. They are just like the top tier hip hop wise. Yeah, stuff like that, man. I was really into things like that. Will Smith was pretty big at the time.
He was
getting jiggy with it. Talented.
Getting jiggy with it.
What's that?
I said getting jiggy with it.
Yeah. Na 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 na.
Na 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 na.
Getting jiggy with it. But yeah, he was like the first rapper to get an American Music Award or something like that. Something like he got for rap, and then he had his own TV show. Became a huge actor, and he could rap. Also, obviously, I said that, but goddamn, like that guy's like a super entertainer, man.
Oh yeah,
he was like the 90s, right?
And he's still a huge movie guy for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then Michael Jackson was in the 90s too. Obviously, he was pretty relevant. He was doing his thing. You know who was pretty popular? Jim Carrey. He was super popular in the 90s. Remember any movies he was in?
Oh, what was that one? He's like this animal guy.
An animal? Ace Ventura?
Ace Ventura.
Pet detective.
Also, you know what? The Mask.
The Mask was fantastic, buddy. I love The Mask. That
One
was
of my
so cool.
favorites because it really. He's a great actor, but he also is great with expressing emotions with his whole body, dude. Because
Definitely, man.
he's very bendy, I guess, but he can express emotion with his body. That's why The Mask is so good, I think.
Yeah.
Because The Mask really is like, he literally wore this mask. You used to have a mask costume, but
I still have it, I think, yeah.
the mask was real on his face, so a lot of his acting in that movie was body language. So that's one of my favorite movies. And CGI.
Yeah, it showcased his abilities for sure. I like that. That was fantastic, man. There was a lot of boy bands in the 90s. Not that we ever rocked out to them, but I mean, people want to hear this stuff. So, do you remember any boy bands in particular?
Yeah, there was Boys to Men.
Oh my gosh. To the end of the road. Come on, man. Hey, you know what
How do I say goodbye to
I'll make love to you like you want me to.
Good shit, dude.
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys, they were they were bigger than NSYNC. I always thought NSYNC was bigger, but I guess Backstreet was huge.
I thought they were the same band. I can't tell you who's in which, but
yeah. Well, Justin Timberlake, which I think is a fantastic performer. He could dance and he could sing really good. I think he's great. He's evolved throughout the years. He was in sync. He was in sync. I could say that. I don't have to say in sync. He's in sync.
He's in sync with whatever. Yeah, you know.
It's like Beyonce was Destiny's Child, right? Like she was Destiny's Child. Like that's it.
Destiny's her mom?
Yeah. Why not, dude? I mean, that's just how it goes, right?
Yeah.
I had so many songs that I had written down, but my phone died, so I can't like think of anything at the moment. But if you could think, did you ever like the Smashing Pumpkins? I always dug the Smashing Pumpkins. They were like a rock alternative. I don't know if they're alternative, but man.
Yeah, I think they were alternative. I did like a couple of their songs for sure.
I thought he had such a good voice, dude. Like, and I don't know if he actually wrote his own songs, but it was really good stuff, man. Oh, Aaliyah. That's what I wanted to mention. I loved Aaliyah growing up, dude. She had a bunch of cool stuff. She had a song, If Your Girl Only Knew Something That You Do to Me. Oh, dude, I had a crush on her. She passed away way too soon. I think she was like 23 or something.
Wow.
But she was super young, but she was a superstar for sure.
Yeah.
Superstar, man.
All right, I'm gonna take a little switch here.
Do it. I'm fine.
We can go back if you need to. Movies.
Ooh, let's do it.
My favorite movie of all time? I don't know if of all time, but for sure
90s. You could say 90s.
In 1999 specifically.
Oh, I already know what this is.
It's
Neo.
Gumby, the movie. No, hell yeah, the Matrix, dude.
The Matrix.
El Matrix.
What did you like about the Matrix? Explain that a little.
The slow motion, like it. Both of us are like into video.
I could barely hear you, by the way. Yeah.
Really?
There you go. You gotta. Maybe it's not directional.
How about now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so like both of us are into short films, into special effects. I think I'm into special effects.
Me too.
And animation. So like when that movie came out and it showed like these cool camera angles where it's like what they call, I forget what they called it, but there were a lot of picture cameras set up over and over, and it would be like Keanu Reeves would literally be like this in real time. And in the camera mode, it'd be like slow motion was like
pretty sick.
And like they had a lot of cable wires like holding them, but it was so freaking cool. And the whole idea of like just us being in this world that's fake just to power these machines and we just have our own idea of what we're told is real. That's what's real, and you're unplugged, and then you see what's really real.
Yeah, for sure. It was
and
definitely
able to like be this person, the one to be like freeing everybody. Like, hey, you've been taught the wrong thing your whole life. This is what's really going on.
yeah.
Awesome movie.
Yeah, and that revolutionized like a lot of movies after that. Like that was like the movie that just pushed boundaries for sure. Everyone's like, "What did I just watch? Holy smokes!" You know what I mean? Like that was one of the defining movies of the 90s for sure. Another one I could think of that still good to this day because they used animatronics. I think it was Jurassic Park. Still to this day, that movie looks freaking tastic.
Very first one, right?
Yeah, and that one looks better than even like the newer ones in my opinion. That looked great, dude. Because they did use animatronics, correct? They used real life, like
in some shots, but a lot of it is CGI too. Like back in the day,
is it?
Yeah,
because they used a lot. Maybe you can argue about this, but I thought they used a lot of animatronics. That's why
both for sure.
Okay,
but the brontosaurus, when it's eating off the tree, like that's CGI.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. Okay. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, sir.
All right.
What else you got for me, 90s wise, buddy? What else did you enjoy? You know what I wanted to be?
What?
Left Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. That's what I wanted to be.
Is that one of your favorite?
I always loved that. Huh?
The second one is your favorite?
I love both of them. I think the New York one's cool because he gets out and he's in the big city and he gets in his hotel room. He gets to order all this ice cream, all these desserts, and then he has this cupboard full of cookies and stuff. And when he gets caught because he uses his dad's credit card, he takes a bunch of cookies and snacks with him. I'm like, oh, he's so cool. Leave me home alone
in New York,
please. That's what I got, man. What you got?
Dude, I already went through
really
on my list. Yeah.
Do you remember this? Wayne's World, party time, excellent. Do you remember this? Did you like the movies?
Yeah, heck yeah, dude. Mike Myers and what's the other guy's name?
Garth Algar.
No, but
that was his character's name. Dana Carvey was his real name. Dana Carvey. I'm all Garth Algar. That's a pretty crazy name, man. That's almost as crazy as whatchamacallit, Donatello something Berry.
Clothberry? Berry Cloth.
Berry Cloth. That's just a crazy name like that.
Well, Garth Algar actually sounds more like the other anchor.
Carson.
Carson C. Carson.
Oh, I'm surprised you don't have any movies. You don't remember another huge movie Will Smith came out on? He came out. I don't know if so. This is Independence Day. Dude, I used to love this movie.
Bad Boys.
Well, Bad Boys, yes, but Independence Day.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Massive, dude.
Dude, I used to make little short film. I would set up this box. I've been into trying to make short films for a while. I would set up this box outside with dirt and one of my remote control cars, and I bought like a bunch of firecrackers once. And this is because of like Independence Day. I wanted to recreate a scene where there would be dirt or dust or some sort of thing chasing this car, which does not happen in the movie, but same effect. And it came out like shit. But yeah, hell yeah, Independence Day.
But you tried. That's still cool, man. Sounds still fun. Yeah, and then I think Men in Black, did it come out in the 90s also? Or is this a ticket more of a 2000s?
No, I think it's the 90s for sure.
Damn, dude. He was massive, dude. He was a big star back then, buddy. Yeah, there was a lot of good movies, dude. I remember drive-in movie theaters. Do you remember those? Did you ever go to a drive-in movie theater?
Yep. That's early 90s, dude.
Yeah. And they basically had a screen. You would drive in your car to a huge projection screen that was outside and
park next to this
speaker box.
Yeah.
Or some of the drive-in put in your car. It's detachable.
And some of the drive-in movies, you just have to tune in to a radio station.
Okay. Yeah, and you could watch huge...
Actually, Jurassic Park is the very first drive-in movie theater in Las Vegas. That's the first movie I saw in a drive-in movie theater.
Jurassic in Las Park. Vegas?
Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting, man.
My sister used to live there.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting, man. I saw City Slickers at the drive-in movie theater, I think. It was City Slickers. Pretty cool. You could watch a movie in a car. It's kind of exciting. And then you go get snacks and stuff. And it's different
Kind
times.
of ideal, dude. I wish we could do that still, because when I sit next to people that are like,
Yeah, and you can smell everything, and you know what I mean. Then people kick your seat. You're like, seriously? Yeah.
Jeremiah told me that when he goes to a movie with Tom, she will get a phone call and be like, "Yeah, I'm just watching a movie." No, and then Jeremiah said, "Yeah, I'll ask her to please take it outside," and she'll say, "You don't tell me what to do."
Who said this?
Jeremiah's mom, apparently,
Oh, really?
according to Jeremiah.
Oh,
We can take that out. Hopefully, we'll see.
that's pretty interesting, man.
Terrible.
So, another movie I'm gonna throw out there real quick. I know it was your favorite. Just kidding. Terminator 2 was definitely ahead of its time, special effects wise and everything. And that movie was sick, dude. With the T-1000 and
T-1000 blow a hole through his head, and he's just like,
and it was mercury, right? He was made out of mercury, I think, something like that, because he just pulls himself together.
yeah, he's made out of T-1000.
Sounds pretty crazy, buddy. Yeah, that's what I got, buddy. I don't know if you have anything else to mention. This has been pretty fun, though.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I'm already done here, so
You tapped out.
tapped out.
Need a refill. Need a 90's refill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take you one of those long belts so you can feel better. So you can quarantine style. I know you want to. Don't lie.
Well, yeah.
But yeah. Thank you for watching episode 8. I can't even talk. Episode 8, 90's style. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Share it.
Please
share
share. We need you guys to share. And please come on or be a guest on our show. We want others' perspectives and
Be our guest.
be our guest. Be our guest. Put Daniel to the test.
Yeah, follow us, like us, share us, comment, join us. We're gonna try to do a live one again. We did a live one, like impromptu. We're gonna do a test live one a couple of days ago. It was pretty fun. We actually did a decent job. Our audio, well, my audio was terrible, but we think we figured out what happened, and we'll probably do another one. But if we could do it on Facebook, we would love for you to join us.
Yes.
So it's not just us.
And Jessica Alba, we're still waiting on that response. We need you on the show. All right. Have a good night. Enjoy.